Hi, welcome to my studio. My name's Kris. Have you ever asked yourself, with all these different pigments, which colors are best to use as your primary yellow, red, and blue colors on your palette? Well, in this video, I'm going to share 4 different color combinations that I think work really great as primary colors for watercolor. Let's get started. Ever since we first started using paint, we've learned about the 3 primary colors: yellow, red, and blue. And we know that we can make any color on the color wheel from those 3 colors. However, we all know that there's lots of colors to choose from. Which yellow, red, and blue is best to use, and which combinations make the best colors. In this video, I'm going to show you 4 different color triads that you can use in your paintings. So here I am applying New Gamboge, the yellow, in my first triad group. New Gamboge is a warm yellow, meaning it leans more towards orange. Permanent Alizarin Crimson, which I'm applying here, is a more cool red and is a beautiful bright red color. And the third color in this triad is Ultramarine blue. These 3 colors are considered more of a traditional primary palette. They will create very bright colors. I'm going to show you in a second the orange, purple, and green that you can make as secondary colors from these 3 primaries. When you think of primary colors, yellow, red, and blue, these are quite often the traditional colors that you think of when you think of that, when you think of primary colors. And so they will create very bright, very realistic, very lifelike colors, the colors you expect to see, for example, for your orange, green, and purple secondary colors. Next, I'm going to mix up the orange from the Alizarin Crimson and New Gamboge. These combinations of colors will create a nice bright orange, as you can see here. The combination of Permanent Alizarin Crimson and Ultramarine will create a real clear, beautiful purple color you can see here. And finally, by mixing Ultramarine and New Gamboge, we'll create a more neutral or muted green like you see here. These 3 colors are a great choice for primary colors, and again, are a very traditional selection of colors, creating very vibrant, beautiful hues. These 3 colors lean towards being warm colors, so we consider this a warm primary triad, as opposed to a more cool set of colors, which I'm going to show you next. The next primary color triad includes the colors Azo Yellow, Quinacridone Magenta, and Phthalo blue. These 3 colors are much cooler colors, meaning they lean towards the cooler side of the color wheel. The yellow leans more towards the green. The red, which in this case is Quinacridone Magenta, leans more towards blue, which is cooler. And the Phthalo blue here leans more towards the greener side of the blues. Some people refer to this primary color triad as the CMY triad instead of the RYB triad. Those letters simply CMY stands for cyan, magenta, and yellow. And this is more commonly the colors used on your desktop printer that you might have in your home or office. RYB stands for red, yellow, and blue, which are more traditionally the colors we think of, as I said earlier, for our primary colors. You can see here by looking at these now side by side how much cooler the Azo Yellow, Magenta, and Phthalo Blue are in comparison to the warmer colors New Gamboge, Permanent Alizarin Crimson, and Ultramarine Blue. When you put them side by side like this, you can really see the difference. Okay, here you can see I'm mixing up the orange from the Azo Yellow and Quinacridone Magenta. It's somewhat similar to the orange that I was able to create in the previous triad. a bright, beautiful orange color, but still a natural color, one that you would see in nature and could use in realistic paintings. The next secondary here is a mixture of Quinacridone Magenta and Phthalo Blue. This is a much more of a true purple, whereas the purple color or secondary color from the first triad was a bit more maroon. And here is the green created from Azo Yellow and Phthalo Blue. It's almost a phthalo green or viridian color. Hopefully you're seeing already the vastly different colors that can be achieved when using different primary colors in different combinations. The third primary color triad that I'm going to show here is made up of yellow ochre, Naphthamide Maroon, and Cerulean Blue Chromium. Now what I'm trying to emphasize here is you don't have to just use the traditional colors that you might think of in terms of primary colors. As long as you have a color that is close to yellow, close to red, and close to blue, you can create a primary triad using these different colors. And in fact, you can get very different, beautiful results. This triad creates what is called by some people a earth tone triad. The colors you're going to see here that are created are much earthier in tone and quality than the colors we saw in the previous triads. Again, yellow ochre is the yellow color there, and that's considered an earth tone yellow. Now I have Naphthamide Maroon that I'm applying here. Again, more of a deep purpley color, purpley red color, or maroon. And it would also be considered a little bit more of an earth tone. And then thirdly, the blue here is Cerulean Blue Chromium, a Daniel Smith color. It's a beautiful and more muted blue color. Now, all three of these tones come together, again, are referred to as an earth tone triad, and they are beautiful for painting landscapes and natural scenes. You can see here I'm creating the orange. It's a very muted orange. This triad, it's really impossible with this triad to make real bright oranges or bright purples. Instead, you're going to get more earth tone type colors. The orange looks more like raw sienna. And now the purple color or secondary color here, again, is almost like a neutral tint, but with a purple cast to it. And finally, the green secondary color here, which is a combination of cerulean blue and the yellow ochre, is again going to create a muted, real natural green that's great for foliage. So again, altogether, this earth tone triad is a wonderful triad to use in landscapes and that kind of a painting. Here I'm creating, lastly, a neutral tone. And you can see it's really quite easy to make a beautiful gray color simply by combining all three primaries together in equal parts. The fourth and final primary triad that I want to talk about today is made up of green gold, Quinacridone burnt orange, and ultramarine blue. Now, this is a very unusual combination of colors to be called a primary triad. And my point in using these three colors is to show you that really, again, as long as you find three colors that are essentially a yellowish color, a reddish color, and a bluish color, and you use those in different combinations, you can create really beautiful secondary colors and create a really beautiful palette for your watercolor paintings. So don't be afraid to experiment. In fact, that would be the primary message of this video that I'd like to convey, is that you should really feel free to experiment with creating your own primary triads. You can't break anything here, okay? Just give it a try and see what you come up with. So again, green gold is my yellowish color. So it's not even called a yellow, it's called a green gold. It's a Daniel Smith color. It's beautiful, but again, it's on the yellow end of the spectrum. It's very much a cool yellow. Then I have Quinacridone burnt orange, which is my reddish color. Again, it's really more of an earth tone, similar to a burnt sienna. But I really like this color better than most of the burnt siennas that I've come across. Again, it's called Quinacridone Burnt Orange, a Daniel Smith color. And but it's on the red end of the spectrum. It's a brownish color with a real strong red undertone and works great as a red primary. And then thirdly, I'm using, again, Ultramarine blue, which I've used in a previous triad, but it's really a go-to blue color that I use quite often. Next, I'm going to mix up the secondary orange color, combination of green gold and Quinacridone burnt orange. Creates really a beautiful orange color. You can achieve a fairly bright orange with this combination. And I'm just kind of combining these two colors here in a gradient. Next, I'll mix Quinacridone burnt orange with ultramarine blue. Now this is a classic combination of colors. Sorry, there's a little bit of a glint of the lights there. You can't see it real well. That'll get fixed in a second. But when you combine this like burnt sienna, Quinacridone burnt orange with blue, you can get a beautiful neutral brownish gray color. And this is, again, a real go-to combination, neutral tone. Really, it's not much of a purple, right? That would normally be the purple, the red and the blue combining. But in this case, it really creates more of a neutral brown color. Here's a close-up of these colors now. Created the green as well, which is the green gold combined with the ultramarine blue. Creates a beautiful bright green. And so I hope you can see here, by combining what would be considered an unusual combination of primary triads here, you can create some really beautiful colors, unexpected colors. Again, I want to encourage you to take whatever colors you have on your palette and find some interesting reds, yellows, and blues and combine them in different ways to see what you get. Lastly here, I am combining all three colors to create the neutral color or gray that you can get from green gold, Quinacridone burnt orange, and ultramarine blue. And I think you'll agree that that's just a really beautiful color. Know that whenever you combine all three primaries in any triad that you have, you're going to get a neutral color. So here again are all four primary color triads that I commonly use in my paintings. I hope you found this video to be helpful. And if so, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. I put out a new video like this about once a week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.